This is Logical MGTOW Spock. Um, have you ever wondered if women really know what they want? I know many teenage men don't know if women really know what they want, but they try to implement ways of getting what they feel that they want. And more often than not, we MGTOW men know this even more so, that they try to get us to get it for them. Case in point. Say, for example, the woman's single, you're single, and say there's no MGTOW, no feminism, no Me Too movement. Just for having, kind of a example, right? Just like it was from 1980 on through to about 1990. Um, and say we have the pandemic now. I mean, the pandemic that we have now, essentially, then. You believe that women would still continue to consider themselves independent and where they don't need a man? And what their first words out of the mouth is always, "I don't need a man to survive, to make it. I don't need a man to help raise the child." And yet the child needs both genders. It doesn't matter if it's a female child. It doesn't matter if it's a male child. It doesn't matter if it's both. Both children need a balance of both gender parental figures, essentially. Even psychologists, therapists say this because not one person can handle a whole lot of the roles to play. Women try to emulate the best they can or the best they know how to of both genders. Yet the only thing that they teach the male gender child is the feminazi aspect of things. Not really what the child needs to know and learn and take into account as they grow into men themselves. Yes, they can get their male educational aspects of what it is to be a man, what it is to be a gentleman, what have you else, right? From the uncle or the grandparent in the father figure, but that's not always 100% now, is it? That doesn't really go too far, really. Because when the uncle's not around, what the hell is the child gonna do? How the hell is a child gonna know the difference between what a man is to do on various aspects and occasions and situations and issues versus how women handle? When a child is young, unless the child's a female, You do not want to go to the points of where the male child learns the femininity aspect. Case in point, Jill from Home Improvement, the actress that plays Jill in Home Improvement. Um, she had the femininity thought, and mother instinct as well in some level, even psychologically. Uh, that even if her son is learning of how to defend oneself in any particular situation, even if there's no parent or other adult figure around, what the hell is he gonna do? Her final answer was run like a yellow-bellied chicken. In another added point to it. That may be fine for women, but men, we don't think that way. We stand our ground, don't we? Yeah, we could easily walk away and think the dude's a complete idiot and whatnot else, right? But for men, it doesn't always work. It doesn't always work as easy as pie like that, right? I got some Arizona green tea in there with ginseng. But of course, to the mother, of course, which as a parent myself, I can understand. Even before I became a parent myself, I still understood. But as the old saying goes, things are not as easy as they are voiced. Be that of course said, or even how they sound. And now I'm not saying that we men should teach our boys to be like Rocky Balboa and fucking fight because you never know the person can be tougher and bigger than our children and wail on him to the point still where he's hospitalized. We don't want that. I know that as parents, we don't want that. Even as uncles, we don't want that. Even as male cousins, we don't want that. But we know eventually it might happen, even if we don't want it to happen, right? The basic fact is that also when it comes to a woman facing another woman, their instinct is not to scamper away, even though the mother says to walk away or run instead of fighting. But no, but when women do that, they'll either punch, slap, pull hair, what have you, scratch. Yet not very many mothers say run if you get encountered by another woman in that aspect. They never say that to their daughters now, do they? A number of them say wail on the bitch. Teach her what for, show her what for, essentially. But when it comes to us males, run. You could say that this one would be the logical MGTOW non-logic of women. Not the also no reality sense of the female feminist bitch. The other aspect of it is that women claim that they and we all make time know this, but I felt that it needed to be said again, even with the aspect of Tom Likas. Women claim that they don't need us to survive. Even, Tom Likas even said, even after a divorce, the survival aspect of income of a woman is lower than a man, even after divorce, even before divorce. And then before, be that of course before divorce and before marriage, years before marriage especially. So women can voice all they want is that I'm a strong, independent woman. I don't need a man to survive to make it into today's society. I'm relying on the government to give me welfare. Even though welfare in today's day and age is crap. Well, of course, that's the only part that they don't add is the fact that welfare today compared to a number of years ago is crap. I'm not going to say it wasn't well sufficient then either. It was established for those who were not able to find work for various different reasons, just like Social Security is for a number of others. But Social Security is mainly for those who are not able to work, and those who can work, there's programs to it. And those who do work only can work part time and only can make so much a month on regular employed income. If you go over that, you can easily lose. Each one has its own specifications per person. I'll give you an example. Person A is about to go into the aspect of thinking of relocating, getting a job, but person B tells person A, it could be male or female, it doesn't matter, that they got denied. So, in a sense, they're telling also, without even saying it all the time as well, that there's a almost a great of a chance that you might get denied as well, even if you went in for it. Person B would be telling that to person A, which basically is not true. Person A would use that logic and that information and go on the aspect of relocating, right? And say if person A has a child that doesn't want to leave the hometown. Not very, very, very sensible now, is it? I mean, unless it means your protection and your child's protection and safety, and your and the adults, the parents' safety, then that's one thing. But if it has no aspect of safety, just more on the aspect of survival income, there's ways to actually find out for yourself. Go on supplemental security, even when you are raising a child. each person's situation is different. We all know. With that, the person's situation might be different from person B's, right? But say later on in the years, person B might be able to go into it again, but the next time around gets it, right? Because over time their situation, whatever the reason, is different than it was the first time they went into it, right? But women nowadays don't have that luxury unless they have a deficiency or disability, a medical deficiency or disability to start with. And no, that doesn't mean go cause one for you to get in order for you to get Social Security. I'm not promoting that shit. I would never promote that shit. Along with all the that aspects is that women do not realize that there was a study done that if they move in with a new possible relationship with a man or a woman, nowadays it could be non-sin to sin essentially. The non-sin would be the man with no sexual promiscuity until marriage, right? To start with, and the sin would be woman moving in with woman, even on the aspect of sexual promiscuity. But it wouldn't be a sin if it's another family member of a woman or a brother or even a nephew or niece or a cousin. And I know the old aspect of the second cousin saying, but mm, I don't think very many people, if any, go that direction anymore because that second cousin um, saying is a sin either way. Um, the other aspect of it is the study was saying that the well the it might not have been a study exactly, but it was something that Tom Likas was reading that I heard him read on one of the radio things of one particular social media site, saying that when a woman moves in with a possible relationship, be this in this case a man, then the aspect of alimony and to start with, and possibly along with child support is cut off between the now ex-husband and her. Be that it it can lead that way or should lead that way. I can't remember exactly, but I'm thinking it would be leading that way, but I'm not gonna. I wouldn't count my chickens before they hatch on that one. That doesn't really put the woman in financial jeopardy in their case because they got another blue pill simp to pay what they want to get paid, even if they have the money to pay it, but yet they want to spend their own money on shoes, seasonal type clothing, makeup, period pads, food for the child or children and them, besides rent and their own bills. Or even they'll even try to get the new possible male relationship idiot to pay their bills for them as well as his own. Many things are possible. You blue-pilled mangina white knight simps. The basic fact is, women do need us, man. As much as they vocalize that they don't, economically, financially, they do. How do you, okay, now women will say, no, we don't need it. You men, we're able to handle things on our own. Oh, really? The consensus says that the more a woman has a man in their life, be that even before marriage, their aspect of financial, shall we say, status is protected with the fucking fact that the man pays for most of the shit for her, even though it's supposed to be her damn responsibility a good percentage of the time. When you women know that you would easily try to talk the guy into paying your bills, your expenses, your other shit, while you go out and spend your money on other fucking shit that you really don't fucking need. Instead of taking care of your responsibilities first, besides your own child or children, if you have any, with your past relationship or marriage. You lay that whole fucking heavy thing on the person that you're in a new relationship with, and you think you're justified in doing that. You think there's no issue, no quarrels about doing it, right? And you think that it would be okay, even to the point to where the guy would want to marry you, even after you laid that responsibility that's supposed to be your responsibility on him. You women are not up here on that aspect. Hell, you're not even up here when it comes to many other things. And I know I've mentioned a number of on many of my other videos of logical MGTOW. You may be independent when you find that there's no other recourse. No man is willing to handle your expenses on his dime, just so he can get some basic snatch. The golden vagina, as is the vajayjay as well. That's the reason why men do it in the fucking first place, and you women know it. Therefore, you use that aspect and that general train of thought that you think we men have all the time. Like you don't have it when it comes to something between our legs. And I know it's said more often than not, women have the aspect of that what the man has in between their legs more so than what men have in that same sexual promiscuous thought. Yet women will say, no, men have that on their minds more often than women. More often than women. That's not always the case. It may be to a certain percentage of women, but not the other percentage, because the other percentage, separate from that, has that on their minds. And they are too shy, too unwilling to admit it. As women know, we're not afraid to admit something, or a good number of things anyway. Especially when it comes to what is in between one's legs. So women may need to relearn and quit hiding the fact that those that same percentage that thinks of it is actually thinking about it even at any given point in time, and say it to the man, because I know you women say it to each other at some point or another, even in the ladies' bathroom or restroom. Besides, I hope he knows what he's getting himself into. I wonder if he knows what he's getting himself into. I'm going to take him for everything he has. Besides that aspect, besides that general female femininity talk or discussion. You women have even gone as far as when it comes to this pandemic that we're dealing with, even though it's politically motivated. Um, you women have, and I've mentioned this before. Again, I know that. Anyways, that you women have gone to the points of like, even with the fact that if you're single or if you're married, you still expect a man to help you. Even if your husband or boyfriend's at work, you expect a man to help you. It doesn't, and to you women, it doesn't matter if it's if you're not in a relationship with the man or not. If you are or not in a relationship with the man or married to the man, you expect a man in general. It doesn't matter to you who the fuck it is. It could be a fucking rapist for all you know. It could be a complete child molesting idiot for all you know. It could be a person coming out of prison for all you know. It could be a murderer. It could be any number of types of of a person essentially. You wouldn't know, but yet you still ask, "Can you help me with these things while we're dealing with the pandemic? You know, can you help me with this and this cost instead of you paying for it yourself? Can you help me with this? It only costs this much." And yet you know you have the money, but you refuse to use it. You know you have the money aside from mortgage or rent, and aside from bills and groceries, aside from your own insurance, a car, or in gas, you know you have the money, but yet you don't want to use you don't want to utilize it for that. You expect us guys to utilize of our own out of our own pockets, and yet we're not even. And a number of them, those that you expect to do that, ladies, you're not in a relationship with, nor would you even at times not even have any aspect of even or even a thought of being in a relationship with that same male gender that you want or basically are asking to help you. You may say that's wrong, but I know for a fact it's not. Because you women have gone through many years in your whole entire lifetime, from teenage on up, and even from elementary school on up. You had your own vision of a man that you'd want to be with, and you'd be more than willing to be in a relationship or marriage with. And it's not always the computer geek. It's not always the person that has as much knowledge as I do, for example, on many different things. It's not the person that basically for a time lives with his parents for a certain length of financial reasons, but is able to get his own place at some point, right? It's not always it's not the not always, but it's not the man that doesn't feel that he needs to be presentable just while just and going grocery shopping or doing laundry or at a laundromat or going to the bank or post office for various reasons. And you don't like the way he looks. You have a totally different distorted vision of it, regardless of the time of day and how hot it is or how hot it might be out there or how cold it might be out there out in the real world. And you have the distorted non-reality type vision of one as if he's supposed to be some muscular dude with biceps and shit like that instead of coming down and staying down into reality and accepting people as they are. I know it'd be easy for me to say that many men can accept women for who and how they are, but I'd be lying because there are fat and fuglies, and there's, as what Tom Likas says, there's those that really don't take care of themselves and that don't even think of changing the period pad for one. Don't even take showers themselves. That don't take care of themselves in any way, shape, or form. Uh, and I know there are men like that too, but more often than not, there's women in that aspect. But outside of the period pad, there's men like that, yes. But with the aspect of the period pad, not no, not even where the woman did not even change the period pad for various illogical reasons. There are women like that. So, all in all, you women do need us men. Yet you basically corrupted the system to where it only benefits you. The no fault divorce, the aspect of using the marital aspect of where it only benefits you in the end of the whole thing. You women in the and where only benefits the woman in the end of the whole thing. Daddy government being one sided in the divorce proceeding, where it benefits you women. You've corrupted the system. Yes, there's a percentage that the politicians like Nancy Pelosi has corrupted the political system, but outside the political system, you women have corrupted it. That's why we men went MGTOW for one of many. That's why men are more than skeptical to even marry you women. Because the end result is that you women will take us for everything we have and what we're worth, essentially. Resources and financial aspects. But even after that point, that runs out at a certain point, then you'll want another man, then it repeats the same fucking bullshit again. The same sinful, illogical shit again. But yet, when you don't get you, but in between all that, you ladies, when you ladies don't get what you want, even in the marriage or relationship, like I mentioned, what happened between myself and my first serious relationship with Jill Yeaman, aka and who is now known as Jill Dixon, when she didn't get what she wanted and what she felt that she was entitled to and expected, bingo, she cheated on me. When she didn't get what she wanted from me again, same thing. When she didn't say when she didn't have no communication with me the third time, when I was trying to call her to see if she what she'd want if she wanted to do something, I find out she's hanging over a dude like this. I'll show you. It was a chair. It was a chair much shorter than this. Um, let's see if I can get it down to that point. Here we are. It was pretty much about that height. This back part would be about roughly here. Okay? She was behind the damn thing. And I don't know. I don't really care if the guy that she was hanging over is watching this video or any one of my videos. I don't really care. But this is what she was doing. The dude was right fucking here. Right here. Kind of slumped down, right? And she was like this. And I saw it in face value. And if Jill saw me do that while watching this video, I can care less. She doesn't matter to me. None of the women that I've dealt with and did not give me the time of day, even when I was younger than I am now, they don't matter to me. They never have. They could have mattered to me, but even the ones that gave me the time of day, but the ones that cheated on me, fuck no, they don't now. They even after they cheated on me, bye. You don't matter to me anymore. And yet Jill did another thing too. And I know I've mentioned this before, ladies. I know I've mentioned this before in MGTOW Brothers, is that she calls my number where I was living at when I was hanging out with my high school friend Chris Thompson, and which I hope he's okay, by the way. So I haven't heard from him in years. But the basic fact is that I was hanging out with Chris Thompson at my place where I was living at the time. Jill calls me, Jill Yeaman, aka now Jill Dixon, calls me up saying, I don't want you to hang around Todd anymore. And I'm like, well, Todd Nichols at this point was my friend, was plural, past tense. Um, at that time I said, well, Todd's my friend. Well, I don't want you to hang out around with him anymore, right? That's what she said over the phone. My response was, Jill, you cannot tell me what to do. Be that one, we are not going together anymore because basically she cheated on me, and she knew that, but I didn't have to add that, and I didn't. Two, you cannot tell me what to do, and I hung up the phone. Within about less than 5 seconds later, less than 5 seconds later, much less than 5 seconds later, I'd say about maybe 4.5 to 3.25 or something like that, right? She calls back. And I'm like, hello? And she's like, yes, I can. I'm like, no, you can't. Click. The second hang up on her, I did. From that point on, I hung out with my then friend Todd Nichols. And she didn't like it even when I was around. And the bitch even tried to fucking get me to go right in the middle of a fucking busy street to get a lighter. And I know one of them tossed it, and I believe it was either her or Todd that tossed it right in the middle of the road, expecting me to get it like a damn dog. And I'm like, no fucking way. I'm not going to risk my life when there's traffic going down Remington like that. No fucking way. I bet you even to this day she doesn't fucking regret doing that. So basically, the whole thing is, I mean, I knew Todd, if he did it, he did it to impress her. But yet, here's the one thing though too. When I was hanging out with a few friends of mine I was trying to get a job for to help get a job over at the sports shop at one point. He he was cool with me. He even backed me up when we dealt with the PD. Um, his one of his friends started making the moves on Jill. Jill didn't have 1 second or third thought of it. She thought she was doing right by protecting myself as well as Todd. I didn't need any protection. I was already buds with one of them. But yet, Todd had a totally different mindset. Todd Nichols had a totally different mindset. he started whimpering like a little child. Many people do different things at any given point. Doesn't matter the gender. There are women that try to act tough. There are women that go to the points of emotional fear and whatnot else. Same thing with men. The same thing with various numbers of men. Doesn't make them. It doesn't make the man weak or chicken or nothing like that. Even though in society's eyes and other people's eyes it might. Thereby, it's a sinful judgment on that aspect. But nonetheless, if the dude wasn't gonna give it to her sexually, she was okay with it. All she play acted was that she was protecting both myself and Todd. Nope. All she was doing was doing what all females do is to get their way. It wasn't really about protecting Todd or myself. It wasn't really about any protecting anybody. Just getting what she wants. Because with the fact that she knew I wasn't being beaten up on, Todd wasn't being beaten up on because I made sure that Todd wasn't being beaten up on because I was already friends with one of them, and this happened in Sunnyvale, California. Right in between Bernardo and El Camino and Bernardo and Washington. Not that far down from Cortez, the independent living area. Not that far down from Matilda and the Central Expressway, which was on the other side of the two fence and the two tracks at that point in time. And if Jill's watching this video, she knows what I'm talking. Even if she doesn't remember, and if she's surprised that I remember that, believe me, I'm like Commander Data on Star Trek: The Next Generation. I remember everything that I'm exposed to, good or bad. Good, bad, illogical, stupid, brain dead actions that people do and whatnot else, and what things that happen. Believe me, I'll remember. Even the brain dead feminazi bullshit and sinful, negative, cheating type of actions that women do. The non-realistic, only in the so-called high entitlement bullshit women try to get away with as well. Among many, or even more than several other things. You wonder how that is. I could say it's the grace of Heavenly Father, and I thank Him for that. Seriously. And I intend to keep that base of memory and thought, regardless of what age I become or build up to, essentially, as the years go by. Because I can help many people with the knowledge that I have, and I have helped many people with the knowledge that I have, even that I had even then. So basically, you women do not have any logical sense in you. You think you can take us men for everything we have and that we're worth, and you think and you think you're justified by doing so, and you think you can make up excuses like, "You're hardly ever around, that's why I cheated on you. You're always working, that's why I cheated on you." I mean, any number of fucking bullshit excuses, even right in front of the damn daddy government of divorce court. You make bullshit excuses, and you call that justifiable? No, it's not. You call that non-sinful? I mean, it may not be sinful in the aspect of the court system, in society's court system, that is, which it is, logically, the society's court system, but it is sinful when you know you're lying through your damn teeth, ladies, when it comes to the aspect of Heavenly Father. You may say it to the society's court and the society's judges in the bench, as it's known. But even as you voice it, you know you're lying through your damn teeth just to get your way and just to get what you feel that you're entitled to. And at the same time, you're sinning. And it's a huge fucking sin. It's a lot bigger than just hitting a person of a sin. It's a lot bigger than basically knocking a person senseless. It's a lot bigger than any physical altercation of a sin. And you could say it's bigger than the sinful action of cheating. No, it's not. It's just about the same percentage, if not just a tad bit higher. And even on the cheating, you women think you're justified. You're not. And you're not entitled either. So you ladies are living in your own little reality and saying that you're living in the actual reality while you do these things and many others. Yet you're really only living in your own little sense and thought of reality. And you want us, and when we're in a relationship or even living with you, before we even get in a relationship with you, you want us to fucking play along. And stupidly enough, a number of men do play along just because they think if they do go along with it, pussy time, right? They'll be able to get at you sexually. You women are sexual. Seriously. And you women know this. So do we MGTOW. Aside from the fact that we're men ourselves. But at the same time, even if even if the promise of sexual promiscuity is not given or even offered up to us even while living with you, even before marriage, you're not entitled. You're not gonna. And you're not justified by trying to get us men to pay your own expense, just so you don't have to take the responsibility of your own and pay him with the money you have. You women are not living in real reality, especially with the feminist movement, especially with the Me Too movement. You're not really living in reality, actual reality, ladies. You're living in the reality that you want to have set in your mind that you're comfortable with. Even when you're dealing with us men, it's the same fucking repeated tape recording aspect and broken record. Metaphor. You women are not up here 100% as much as you claim. Even when it comes to when you're involving yourself with us men. Even as you try to get us to do things for you as well as with you that we don't really want to do, but we do anyways because it's the respectful thing to do at times. And at times, even if it is respectful enough, but yet there's a number of men that will do it just so they can get at you in a sexual way. But yet, I know a number of you women do the same thing when it comes to your thought of the promise of marriage. The possibility that he would promise himself to you, ladies, in the aspect of a possible marriage, in the sense of an engagement. But yet, even with that, and even before that even ever happens, you women go behind our backs and cheat on us. It doesn't really matter to us when we have no romantic involvement or interludes with you women if you sleep around with other idiots, other men essentially. But when you go to the aspect of doing things that we ask you to do and you have no second thought or refusal to do for us, as we don't have any refusal to do for you at that point in time, start with, even in our youth, that you go as far as cheating on us, even if we're in a relationship with you. And you make up the fucking stupid excuses. Just like Jill did. Just like Rose did. AKA Alyssa Benton did to me. You women are not up here, logically. When you're not in a relationship or involved with a man, you might be in your own sense of reality of logic. But when you are dealing with us men and have any involvement with us men, you're not. All you're thinking about what you're entitled to, what you are, your expectations from us men, of us men. I mean, to the points to where if you don't get it, you act like a fucking child. On top of that, you act like a fucking 2-year-old, even a 3 to 4-year-old. So you women think you're justified even by doing that, though yet you're not. Because when you act like little children and yet you expect to be treated and respected like an adult, with the fact that you're also your physical form is the adult aspect as well, even by law. You still act like little fucking children. But yet, when a number of men have acted like children, you either insult them, make fun of them, and various other things. And you walk away and don't have anything to do with them again. But when we see you do that, you still expect us to have any level of involvement with you. And yet, the phony excuse, well, if you don't want to deal with me anymore, you don't have to. Bullshit, you want us to. And you essentially turn around to make it to where we go back into that same bullshit again with you. Case in point, ladies, I left Alyssa Benton, aka who she wanted to be called, Rose Benton. I left her 3 fucking times because one of many reasons she cheated on me more than one time with my old friend who I treated a few beers to over at San Jose Live, which was a nightclub at the time in San Jose, California. We were just hanging out, walked out with the beers at one point, drank them, talked, then eventually went on our way. But little did I know he would do what he did, even if she really wanted it. Even with the fact that I saw them break it up. I saw her, Alyssa Benton, aka Rose Benton, break it up with him over at the Christmas dance over at the community center below the church in San Jose. That whole thing was obviously staged. I later surmised. So even when I went back with her the 2 other times, right, she still played the same card. No, no more. No more. Ever since then, I haven't had to deal with her. I haven't heard from her. Even when I was back in Silicon Valley, I haven't seen or heard from her. And thank Heavenly Father for that. Because if I did see her and she wanted to talk with me again, hell no. Even when I went over to Pacifica, to the beach with my then wife, I looked over and I saw a woman looking at me, wondering if she recognized me at all. It could have been her. I'm not saying it. I'm not saying it was or was at the time or is at that point in time. She didn't make herself known, so I'm not gonna worry. I didn't worry about it. I mentioned it to my then wife, yes, but I didn't worry about it too much to the points of at all, really. The other aspect of it is that if she did make herself well known, guess what I would have said? I would have said, "This is my wife." No, it's not. I know that's one thing. That's not your wife. You shouldn't be with him. He's still mine. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'd be like, no, I'm not. I'm married to her. I married her in a different county. I would tell Alyssa Benton, aka Rose Benton, that I married this woman that I came over to this beach with, being who what my wife was. I would tell Rose Benton, aka Alyssa Benton, that I came over here with this woman right here. Not you, Rose. Not you, Alyssa Benton. Essentially, this woman right here, this blonde-haired woman right here. So therefore, you are no longer, and I would say, Alyssa Benton, aka Rose Benton, you're not in my life. You've never been in my life, and I don't want you in my life. You screwed up it's on you, not me. Then I'd walk away. If she did any physical aspects, I would have fucking knocked on her ass. Not by fist, but by elbow. Because I have many different scenarios up here that she would have possibly done if she made herself known. I went over to the beach with my then wife at the time while the woman was kind of like going, walking back and forth, looking like this, you know, while the sun was going towards her, you know. So, you know, one thing though, I have a sense and thought, and I know Jill will deny it. She may even deny it even in today's day and age. But with the fact that she saw me, and I'm not trying to talk myself up either, and you can call this hopefulness or not, I don't really care, but it's not. But I know these women that I'm referring to, that I'm talking about here. I know these women too damn well. I know them more than they know themselves, or even more than they will freely admit. Even to the ones that they're supposedly going with, quote unquote, or even married to, quote unquote. That if I wasn't with a person, she tried to make her move on. She knew that I was married because we ran in. She ran into me and my then wife essentially, and she saw the fact. She heard the fact that I got married, and I pointed and I showed her this is my wife, right? I told her that straight out at the time when I was married. Whether if Chris Dixon wants to realize that I know Jill better than she knows herself. I know Jill better than he may know her. And I'm not insulting him at all because I respect Chris Dixon. And I'm not saying that in fear or nothing like that. I'm being honest. Whether he's saying that I'm saying that I respect him out of fear when I'm not, because I don't fear nothing. But the basic fact is, I know for a fact if Jill didn't see me with a woman, even at that point in time, she'd make a way in any way she thought she can get away with and try to make her move on me. Would I allow it? Oh, hell no. I would not allow it. No fucking way, man. She might think I might. I don't care what she thinks. Never really did, really, to be honest. But at the same time, though, too, is that I know she would. Because, like I said, I know the male and female psyche, and with the fact that I know the male and female psyche, I know women enough better than most men. I'm not saying I'm Einstein, but believe me, aside from the fact that I was raised by women, and yes, there were men around still too. Yes, being my uncle, my mother's brother, and my mother's father at the time. Aside from that, I learned it from that point on. Even while going into relationships, even with the two cheating sluts that I mentioned. I could easily call one a cheating, unforgiving slut, being of course Christina Schneider, and I don't care what her married name, if she's married at all, is or was. She saw me. She heard me say that I came back from Arizona, but yet she was already with somebody. So I'm like, all right, fine. And I was thinking, okay, you don't matter. I was thinking in my head, you don't matter to me anymore. And thereby, I ain't gonna do shit for you. Do you think I would do something for these three women that I mentioned if I ever cross paths with them again? If you said yes, you're wrong. That would consist of me being a blue pilled simp mangina, no reason to be in MGTOW. That would also consist of me going out there, even when I'm doing my advocate work and MGTOW investigation as well, um, as I have done with this phone, um, while on my outings. That would consist of me trying to find a woman, which I'm not. As the old saying goes, if a woman wants to be with you, they will make themselves known. Thereby, don't look, and they will come. As the old saying goes from the movie called Field of Dreams, build it, and he will come, or they will come. Essentially, right? The basic fact is same thing for women. Same thing when it comes to men. Although they may think that way when it comes to men. The only way that it is that way with men is if they're blue pill mangina white knight idiots, willing to give themselves and show no respect and consideration for themselves, and give themselves all to the woman, finances and all, in which they would end up doing in the fucking first place with a no fault divorce. Women have been able to cheat as with the same aspect of thinking that they of acting like they're single when really they're not, and they know they're not. And at times, if not more than at times, they deliberately don't put their wedding ring and engagement rings on to show to symbolize that they are spoken for. You know that's true. Me, many MGTOW members besides myself know this is true. You teenagers will find out soon enough if you haven't already found out already. Yes, teenage women will do the same shit. Engaged in a relationship or not, they will do the same shit. And here's the thing of it. Here's the other part of it. Even after they cheat on you, and I've mentioned this before as well. Even after they cheat on you, they expect you to forgive them and try to claim that they will never do it again. As, even aside from the fact of once you cheat, they always cheat. And the other aspect of saying once a cheater, always a cheater. Although that's not always true, depending on the person. And if the person has any common reality type levels of common sense and respect and consideration for the other person besides themselves. If they say they do, but yet play the fucking cheating card, the sinful cheating card, that's a load of shit. They're telling you a load of shit. Rose and Alyssa Benton, aka Rose Benton, and Jill Yeaman, aka now Jill Dixon, was full of it. Full of shit, full of gunk, full of the whole enchilada. You can name it. You can say that she had no true intent of keeping what she said, that she would be faithful to me. Women will play that fucking card any way they think they can get away with you not having a second or third thought of thinking of having even the thought of they're just saying it just to get away with shit or just to keep your mind at ease when really your mind isn't really at ease, is it now? Because there was always that chance in the back of our heads that they will do it again, and we know this. We just don't voice it. It's the same with women when it comes to men who cheat. And a number of women think that if he's going to cheat, I'll cheat. Either way, it doesn't make things better for either side. Even when women cheat, men think, okay, I'll cheat. Still doesn't make anything better or any there's no equal levels or nothing like that either. And yet women talk about the feminist bitches talk about equality. There's no equality in today's society, especially when it comes to marriage and relationships. It's their own little manipulative control bullshit word and phrases and sayings and such. And yet there's male feminists out there that fall into that bullshit that there's oh we believe in equality for all men as well as women. We believe in this, we believe in that, and then and every so often you hear the fucking feminist and Me Too movement idiots change their stance on many other things again, and what they should follow and what they shouldn't follow, and I mean the whole fucking thing is just a monopoly, a mixed message, fucking confused mindset of the feminazi female thought process. And yet they think we men will fall into place at some point as they preach that bullshit feminist crap. One woman even on YouTube mentioned, "Oh, the Me Too movement and the feminist movement will last longer than MGTOW." There's where you're wrong, you feminist bitch. MGTOW will more often than not last longer than your movement, you feminist fucking idiot, bitch, slut, skank, lesbian jerk off, you sinful, so called entitled little fucking skank. non-human, because that's exactly the what it's going towards right now for you women. To the point of being treated not like human being, not with no but with the base of no respect, no positive sensibility, no nothing positive because of the feminist movement. And besides, the feminist movement and the Me Too movement aren't doing anything beneficial for you women anyway. Believe it or not, I don't really give a damn. MGTOW doesn't really give a damn. MGTOW members don't really give a damn one way or the other anyway. If you believe it or not, especially. You're just going down the invincible road that only you envision of reality, ladies. When it's not really reality, it's your own little thought process of reality playing in your mind as you walk down that metaphorical path, even that's attached to your life. As you go on in living your life, hoping for a man to where you would be able to mentally manipulate and where you'd be able to get away with and take him for everything he has in the end result and think that seeing that there's the no fault divorce that you would be able to act like you're single even though you know you're not, even by legal standards you're not, legal marital standards you're not, even spiritual and legal matter statutes you're not single anymore. On that point, even in the relationship aspect, you're not. Even in the base of engagements, you're not single any longer. But yet, you want, due to the no-fault divorce process in the proceedings in divorce court, you act like as if you are. And even if we men or anybody catches you in the fucking act, then you say, well, I'm going to take you over everything you have anyway. So there's no equality there either. Now, is there, ladies? There's a base of sinful mental manipulation that you do to us men, or even try to get away with when it comes to us men. And you think you're justified by doing so. You're not. Your common sense makes no sense. Your common sense is just that. Zero sense. You make no sense. You're not really living in reality, ladies. So, in all, we MGTOW men will stay MGTOW men. We MGTOW men can also go to the points of dating you women to the points of the $40 rule, like Tom Likas says. But even while we're doing the $40 rule, and we see you women doing any text messaging, answering the phone call while we're spending time with you, or eating dinner or lunch with you, and you think there's something promising that you might foresee with that particular MGTOW member, to where you think if you play your cards right, that you would be able to get him to get out of MGTOW and to where you'd be able to mentally manipulate him in the feminazi way and manner, to where the end result is that you would be able to cheat on him due to the no fault divorce to start with, and take him for everything he has and is worth financially and by resource. Keep thinking that. Make yourself look like a complete slut and fool, ladies. Keep thinking that, seriously. You're just lying to yourself because you think you can get away with things. You think you're in a high stature of various different things and on and about various different things, especially when it comes to us, man, and you're not. You women think that you're in a high stature of things. You have more say so than you really do, and you have more movement than you really do, especially when it comes to relationships and marriage. And you think you have more say so when you're living with a man than you really do. Because when you're living with a man, just like when you're living with the same fucking gender, it's always fucking 50-50. Even in a marriage, living with a man, still 50-50. It's not what women say goes in the house. And if the woman doesn't say what goes more than the man, then the woman will take the house as well as everything else. And guess what? That's also a sin. That train of thought from the feminists and Me Too bitches is also a sin. Not regarding the importance of the other human being, only regarding you as a single person when you're not really single, and even in that aspect, aside from the roommate aspect, you are still single. Yes, but if you're in a relationship with a man or a marriage with a man, you're not single. Regardless of the no fault divorce, you're not single. Yet you want to play act like you're single and cheat on us, men, even when we're doing something to help us survive, help us make it through the day by day, weekly, monthly, yearly base, even while in a relationship or marriage. But you still think just because of a no fault divorce that you still be able to cheat on us. And yet you want us to take you back while in a relationship with you, and even after the fact that you cheat on us while in a relationship with you. But when we want you to take us back, the probability of that is practically nil. But when it comes to us men, you want the probability to be that in a large number. The basic probability with a woman cheating on me, if she ever wanted me to take her back, would be zero. No way, no chance. No chance on this wonderful, beautiful planet of ours. No chance in hell. No chance in heaven am I going to take a woman back for cheating on me. Fuck that shit. No way. I didn't take Rose back officially, aka Alyssa Benton back officially. I didn't take Jill back officially. As much as she may have thought, even at that point in time. Because I knew she would play that same sinful adultery card again. And lo and behold, what I showed what she did, she repeated the same shit again in the sense of the cheating. She may not think it was cheating, and she may have easily considered, well, oh, we weren't going together at that point. Really, we were, but yet you didn't say nothing about not wanting to be with me anymore, even when you called me back after I paged you. Even when I was over, when I went over, when Barbara, one of our friends at the time, Jill, brought me over to where her and Janet lived, where you were, obviously. In which I saw, again, Jill doing this, right on one side like this. But yet her hands were on both sides of the dude. It's one thing if a woman says, I don't want to be with you anymore, and all this other shit, right? But in a nicer, polite way. Yet she didn't say that at all. She didn't even imply it. Although implying doesn't really do much anyway. Saying it directly versus indirectly says it. When you imply it, you're saying things indirectly as well. So basically, she didn't utter one aspect. When a woman does that, believe me, they're playing mental manipulative games, even while going against the Bible, even while going against this book. Married in a relationship or and even engaged, they're going against this book. Even with the no-fault divorce, you're still going against this book, ladies, by even being caught cheating. Even by cheating without being caught, you're going against this book. And you think you're justified, even in accordance to this book, even aside from this book, you think society has more power than this book? And you think society has more power of what you do and why you do things? And you think you have more power, more say-so, more justification than what this book says? You're crazy. You're not really thinking sensibly, logically. Yeah, and even the men that do that same shit, they're not really thinking of anything except for one thing, just like you women. But when it comes to being married to us men, you're not really thinking about this book either. When it comes to the basic cheating, you think if society is okay with it, then the Bible, then God's okay with it, and Heavenly Father, aside from the fact that He's a forgiving being, that He would brush it off like it's nothing, right? Wrong. If he was gonna brush it off like it was nothing, ladies, while you do the sexual promiscuity in the sense of adultery, aka cheating, it wouldn't be mentioned on this book as many times that it is, and even in the King James version, even in other versions of this book, known as the Bible, it's mentioned. Even in this book, ladies, in some way or another, it's mentioned. Maybe not directly, maybe a metaphor here and there or a passage here and there. It might be mentioned in without even saying it directly on those books, but it is mentioned. But it is mentioned directly on those. So you feminist bitches are not justified in any way, shape, or form, and you cannot make any bullshit excuses. You, even though you've gotten away with it in your youth, and even those still in their youth, you cannot get away with it in accordance to this book. Married or not, in a relationship or not. Yes, I'm wearing some attire. But like I said, married or not, in a relationship or not, engaged or not, you can't get away with it. Even if society says deems it okay, even with a no-fault divorce situation, think that book tops what society's logic is. That book is more logical than society itself. That book is more logical than you women. That book is more logical than a number of us men. That book is more logical than feminist movements. That book is more logical than the Me Too movement. In many ways, many MGTOW members go by that book, like I do. And not all MGTOW members go by it, but they do mention it at some point or another, in one way or another, but they don't always go by it. Granted, that's their agency and that's their choice. But those that do and have, even by mentioning it, like I did just now, and like I've done many times, many other times in a number of my MGTOW videos. The basic fact is, ladies, you are not with it in reality. You are not justified in your negative, sinful actions. You are not justified, and yes, you might be forgiven, but if you continue to do it, even after the first time, then you think, oh, well, I can do it again. It's been a while, so I can do it again. Wrong. You couldn't even do it the first time. It's not easily forgiven the first time. It's not like if you hit a person and then you repent, or if you curse at a person or do something wrong to a person, then you repent. It doesn't play that way. It's not easily forgiven in that sense, or in any sense. Thereby, you women are not really up here. You may think you are. You are by yourself when it comes to involving us men into your life. Even another woman into your life, which is basic sin nonetheless, right? I mean, if you involve the same gender as you women into your life, even in the sexual sense, which is a sin, like men have and are still doing when they involve men and other men. In a sexual sense as well. That's a sin still. But you women have sinned more than we men have. You've corrupted society, you've corrupted marriage, you've corrupted the whole aspect of many, many things, even in the aspect of relationships as well as marriage. Even the prospect of marriage you've corrupted. What you women have allowed to get words like corrupted. Even aside from the fact that it benefits only you women, and it doesn't really truly benefit us men equally. Even with a no-fault divorce only benefiting you women. Like each and every MGTOW member and Tom Likas has said, there's no fucking benefit for us men to marry you fucking sluts. You fucking feminazi women. No matter how much you talk us into it, there's still no benefit, even if you promise not to do the things that you women get away with and expect us to fall into place. Even as you try to call the shots in the relationship. Even as you try to fucking say what goes in the marriage. Even while living together under the same roof. Even when you say, I won't do this if you won't do that. I won't do this. And compromise. There's no compromise. There's no logical levels of compromise anymore. Really, there hasn't really been, especially when it comes to you women. Even in the prospect and aspect and possible aspect of going forth with marriage. Or even in a relationship in general with you women. Many LGBT men as well as women would say the same thing about their same gender. I know that. The reason I know that is because I know with the fact that I know it's a sin to to have any sexual relations with a man as well as a woman having a sexual relation with a woman, but it's not a sin to be friends with those human beings, regardless of their sexual orientation or whatever. Uh, you can still be friends with them, right? There's no sin in that. You just were showing respect. You're showing that they matter without any aspect of sexual actions going on between you and them, even if it is the same gender or not. But outside of that, you women do not know what real logic and real consideration and respect is anymore, because you're only focused on your survival, your being, your self entitlements, your whole entire existence. When as if the world revolves around you women when it really doesn't. It doesn't even revolve us around us men. As much as we'd like, as much I know, as many men would like it to, as well as you women would like it to, on the equal levels on it. Think about what I said, ladies, and think about what I said on each and every other one of my videos of Logic of MGTOW. And a number of them, I will mention that book again. But it doesn't change just because you want it to, or even expect it to. Do and with that, there's no entitlements on any side of your thought process, ladies. And you can't make you might say, I want you to change what you said on those MGTOW videos. You can say that all you want. I ain't going to. I may say things differently, yes, but I'm not going to change things in the beneficial for women. No MGTOW member is going to be coerced into that shit unless they're blue pilled manginas acting like MGTOW when really they're not MGTOW. Within many of my videos, you will see I will say many different things, and each one establishes that I'm MGTOW, aside from the introduction. MGTOW members, I hope you took what I said to heart and to more than consideration, because I say the truth. Just like uh, just like Mr. Hate Vicious did and has, even though he hasn't made any videos since last anyway, which I understand and I respect, and I still respect him. Even with the return of Undead Chronic, the basic fact is that I respect each and every MGTOW member, even if they haven't made a number of videos in so however long. Even the ones that have made continuous ones even more than I have. I still respect them. But for the ones that are blue-pilled Mangina simps, white knights, and those that are weak in the knees for the golden vagina, what many people also call the golden goose, In a sense, that's what women are expecting to get from us men. The golden goose, the trophy. And yet, I know many people still have the aspect of the trophy wife. What trophy wife? Wives are not trophies. Wives are not that. I mean, women are not important anymore. Our daughters are, yes. Our sisters are, yes. Our nieces and nephews and female cousins are, yes. That's a whole different thing. Family relation outweighs family. The family circle outweighs the women that are not in our family. It even outweighs the men that are not in our family. But it will not outweigh those true friends of ours that are males. It could easily outweigh the so-called ones in the women that consider to be our friends that have us in the friend zone. Well, that's another one. There is no true friend zone. Women have set that up to where we would feel that we might still have a chance with them. If things go astray or awry or downhill with those quote unquote what they consider to be bad boys. Yet at the same time, even while they're dealing with or trying to find one, they still expect the men that they have in the friend zone to do things for them and to buy things for them. There's no true friend zone. It's just a mental manipulation zone, but in a different aspect. Not in the sense of relationships, but in the sense of friendships, or so-called friendships, and really, or fake, phony-ass friendships, which is the mental manipulative thing. So basically, even MGTOW members should know this. The friend zone is non-existent. There was no true friend zone in the fucking first place. The friend zone is and has never been around. It's the mental manipulation from women that they try to get away with when it comes to us men. In a relationship, in a possible relationship, in a so-called friend bullshit thing, when it's really not a friendship. That's the aspect of it right there. This is Logical MGTOW Spot. Live long and prosper, MGTOW brothers and soon to be and future MGTOW brothers and new MGTOW brothers. Stay strong. Stay self-assured, self-confident, and stay alive. Most important. Equally as important. And free yourself from feminist and Me Too manipulation. And again, there's no real friend zone. It's a mental manipulation in a different sense, in a different level, even if it may seem like the same level. That women try to put us in the so-called quote-unquote friend zone when it's really the mental manipulation, while they try to find the so-called quote-unquote bad guy or bad boy, essentially. That they think they can manipulate into doing things for them and doing what they say as if the woman calls the shots when the woman doesn't. Stay strong. Stay free from feminism and the manipulation of feminists. And stay free from the Me Too bitches and idiots. And stay free from the feminist manipulation and Me Too manipulation. Stay strong. Stay MGTOW. Stay single. MGTOW for life.